Hello children, in today's video I am going to describe about the chapter 1 class 12 biology portion, that is reproduction in organisms. Now it's a very fundamental chapter. You have already read in class 10 about reproduction in organisms. So this is the continuity. Here in this video I am going to describe only the asexual part, asexual reproduction in organisms. In the next video I will be describing about the sexual reproduction part. And it is a very small chapter, so go through it, try to understand. Thank you. Hello children, I have come up with a new chapter, chapter 1 of class 12 biology, reproduction in organisms. Now you have heard about the term reproduction in the lower classes. What is reproduction? It is a biological process by which an organism produces another organisms or offsprings of its own kind. So this is known as reproduction. Now reproduction has various importances. Now why do organisms reproduce? Plants, animals, microbes, why do they reproduce? For that, let us have a glance about the importance of reproduction. Now reproduction is very essential to maintain the continuity of the species. Otherwise, if there is no reproduction, the species will become extinct from the earth. So it is very important a phenomenon of reproduction to continue the species. Second is sexual reproduction. Now sexual reproduction is responsible for variation in a population. In sexual reproduction, gametes are involved and DNA copying plays a major role in sexual reproduction. Now as DNA copying takes place and the gametes are fused together, so the two parental characters accumulate together in the offspring and hence variation may be present due to mutation, and that may lead to evolution, which is absent in asexual mode of reproduction. Now every living organism has a particular lifespan. Now what do you mean by lifespan? Lifespan is the period from birth to the natural death of an organism. Now you have to remember is very key word, that is natural death. It is not an accidental death. So when an organism naturally die after taking birth and survive on the earth, so this is called lifespan. So lifespan vary from organism to organism. Some organism may have lifespan of only 1 day, for example like mayfly. Some may have a lifespan of 200 years or more, like a banyan tree. Botanical garden in Kolani Botanical Garden is there. So there you can see the huge banyan tree which is very, very old. So a banyan tree can grow near about 200 years. A tortoise can grow for 150 years, up to 150 years. Even a parrot, which is a small bird, so small than a human being, it can survive for 140 years. Human being. Now the life expectancy of human being has increased due to the various medical facilities. Generally, human being nowadays, due to various diseases and due to environmental pollution and various other factors, the lifespan has decreased. But in average, the human being has the lifespan of near about 100 years. You can see the Japanese, they live for a long time. So environment and other physical factor, psychological factor, genetic factor plays a major role for lifespan of human being. Next come crocodile, it survived for 60 years. Crow survived for 15 years. Wheat plant is an annual plant, it's a cereal crop, it grows for 6 months. Wheat, paddy, these are all the cereal crops that grow for 6 months. A butterfly survives for 1 to 2 weeks. Butterfly has various stages in the life cycle. And a horse can have the lifespan of 25 to 30 years. So these are about the lifespan of various organisms. Now reproduction can be divided into two types, asexual and sexual. Asexual reproduction, I have written the features of the asexual one here, but the sexual reproduction features I have not written here. You may be wondering why I have not completed the features of the sexual reproduction. This is for you. You have to fill it. So sexual reproduction, you see, I have left it blank. Now let me discuss the asexual. Then you will get the sexual one also, because it is just the opposite of the asexual one. Clear? So let me discuss the asexual mode. So I will discuss about the various features of asexual reproduction. Now in asexual reproduction, you see the method is uniparental. Uniparental means a single parent is involved. Okay, here the offsprings produced are exact copy of their parent. Why? Because there is uniparental method, so there is no meiosis or no exchange of gametes between the two parents. So only one parent, so the total genetic composition of the parent is carried forward to the offspring. So it is a total exact copy of the parent. Okay, so what is the mode? What is the major method by which this parent give rise to the new offsprings? This is the mitosis. Mitosis plays an important role in this type of reproduction. So hence mitosis, and though there is no gamete formation, no exchange of DNA, so there is no role in evolution as there is no variation. And this process is very simple and very fast process. Okay, so in E. coli bacteria, in 20 minutes a colony can grow. So you want to think about how fast is this type of reproduction. Next, I was talking about to fill your gaps. I hope you have filled the gaps already. So let me discuss. As it is uniparental, sexual reproduction is biparental. Two parents are involved of different sex. So offsprings are not the exact copy of their parent because variation is seen. As I told you, there is exchange of the DNA or there is gamete involvement. Third is meiosis is the major part, plays an important role, and it plays a very important role in evolution process, and it's a complex process and very slow process. So these are the differences between asexual and sexual mode of reproduction. Clear? Next, let me discuss about the various type of asexual reproductions in organisms. So I think you can recall this type of reproduction you have read in class 10. Now see, let me discuss each and every one. First is fission. Second, fragmentation. Third, budding. Fourth, regeneration. Fifth, spore formation. Sixth, vegetative propagation. So I will be discussing each and every type bit by bit. First is fission. Fission can be again classified into binary and multiple fission. Okay. Now let me discuss about binary fission first. Now you can see the picture of binary fission of amoeba that I have drawn here. Now in amoeba you see it's a very simple mode of reproduction. Even in paramecium also this type of reproduction is seen. This is a nucleus, the cytoplasm, surrounding cytoplasm and the cell membrane. So it is a unicellular freshwater protista amoeba. Now first what happens, the nuclear region, the nucleus elongates. So elongation of nucleus I have drawn here. Next come the nucleus elongate and divide, start dividing. So it is called karyokinesis. That is nuclear division. Karyon means nucleus, karyon, K-A-R-Y-O-N, karyon, nucleus, kinesis. So nuclear division, which is followed by cytoplasmic division called cytokinesis. So karyokinesis followed by cytokinesis, and thereafter the nucleus and the cytoplasm divides into two. That is the two daughter amoebae are produced. See the spelling, amoebae, plural of amoeba. Clear? So this is the the binary fission of amoeba with a diagrammatic representation I have tried to explain you. You can practice this diagram. Okay, it's a very easy diagram. So you very well understood what happens exactly. So you see the whole body of the parent, that is the amoeba, is splitting into two daughter cells. So can we say that there is no natural death in the amoeba? They are immortal. Why can't we say that? Yes, we can say obviously because the parent body is entirely split into two daughter cells. So you see the entire protoplasm of the amoeba parent is split into the two daughter cells. So the daughter cell is carrying the same protoplasm, the genetic material of the parent amoeba, isn't it? So we can say they are immortal. Okay, unless and until it happens that it is been killed by some organism or eaten away. Otherwise they are immortal, we can say. So this is the exception. Okay, next part is the multiple fission. So multiple fission in Plasmodium. You know Plasmodium is one type of malaria causing what? Protozoan. So next is, so students, let me discuss about the by multiple fission of Plasmodium. Now see, this multiple fission generally takes place in adverse condition when the environmental condition is unfavorable. Now you see, the organism encloses itself within a thick coating that is called a cyst. So this is a cyst. So they form a cyst around their cell, and you see, this is the nucleus cytoplasm. This is the cytoplasm inside, and this is the cyst formation. So within the cyst, the organism divide repeatedly by mitosis. They repeatedly divide and form a large number of organisms till the favorable condition comes. It remain in the cyst. Okay, cyst is a wall surrounding the cell. And when the favorable condition comes, the cyst will break, and the organisms produced by this cyst formation, that is the multiple fission, they expose out, they come out, and they are released in the environment. So they find a host body to perpetuate later. So this is about the multiple fission in Plasmodium. Okay. Next, here I would like to tell you something about sporulation. Now, sporulation is generally seen in Amoeba, Paramecium euglena. Now, this sporulation actually occurs during unfavorable climatic conditions. So, amoeba, they cover themselves with a very hard 3-layered structure called the cyst. Again, the same thing that I told here about cyst. Here also in sporulation, during unfavorable climatic conditions, when the food is unavailable, or there is the temperature is very high or very low, whatever may be the external temperature or external factors, so the organism, they produce a 3-layered membrane around themselves. You see, I have drawn here 3 membrane with 3 different colors, red, green and black. Third layer, from outside to inside, you see black layer is the first, second layer I have drawn the green one, and the red is the third layer. So this is the cyst wall. So the cyst wall encloses the organism. You see the organism is inside, this is the amoeba. It undergo division. Okay. So on return of the favorable condition, it divides and multiply, and the cyst wall break, and the the produced organism by multiple fission, they come out. So the cyst wall breaks or bursts, and the spores are liberated into the environment, and they developed as adult one. So this is sporulation in amoeba. Clear? Okay. Next, you see the next type of asexual reproduction is seen in filamentous algae, that is the Spirogyra. Spirogyra is also known as pond silk, you know, or water silk, because of its slimy appearance. Now they have spiral chloroplast. You know, it's a filamentous algae found in fresh water. Now filamentous, Spirogyra, their mode of asexual reproduction is fragmentation. So what happened in fragmentation? In fragmentation, the parental body, this is the parent body. The parent body generally breaks into 2 or more fragments. You see, I have drawn here 2 fragments. This is one fragment, this is another fragment. The parent body breaks into 2 fragments, 2 or more fragments, and each fragment grows into a new individual Spirogyra. So this is the fragmentation in Spirogyra. So there are many other asexual reproduction modes. That is, next is budding. You know, budding in yeast. I hope you remember budding in yeast in class 10. You have read what happened in budding in yeast. Okay, now see, I am drawing, suppose this is a yeast cell, a small outgrowth appear. Okay, this is the bud. Now this bud grows further and chain of buds are formed. So you know, this is the budding in yeast. So in this way, yeast also. So as I told you about the budding in yeast. So you see here budding, in what happens in budding? The yeast cell, the parent yeast cell, an outgrowth or a bud appears, okay, on the parent body. And this bud generally grows into a chain of bud, and the chain may detach or may not detach from the parent body. Okay, so this is budding. Now you also know about the budding in hydra. In lower classes you have studied in class 8 about budding in hydra. So many organisms shows budding as a asexual mode of reproduction. Next comes the regeneration method. Regeneration. Now regeneration is seen in planaria. Planaria, you see, this is regeneration. Now this process of regeneration is seen in planaria. So this is the planaria, parent planaria. You can see I have drawn two dotted line. These are the cut parts. Suppose in any type of incident happens that the parent body cut into two fragments or three, more than two. So 1, 2, 3. The three fragments of the planaria parent is here. Now what happens? They have some specialized cell that can undergo mitosis very soon, and the total entire body of the parent cut part of the parent planaria grows into a new individual. You see, this is the cut part with a bold line, and this is the dotted line, that is the newly grown part. Same way here you see this part I have drawn here as bold, and this is the dotted line, and the third part. So all these three part of the planaria parent which were cut by any accident or any mishap, it grows into three individual offspring planaria. So this is a unique method. Now do you remember regeneration can also be seen in the tail of lizard, even our nails and our hair also regenerate, isn't it? So regeneration of the entire organism is seen in your planaria. Even you see starfish, the arm of starfish also regenerate. So this is one of the very fastest method of regeneration process. Next come spore formation. Now spore formation can be divided into three heads. Okay, zoospore, conidia, gemmules. Okay, zoospore, conidia, gemmules. So I am writing here zoospore, conidia and gemmule. Now what do you mean by all these three? Zoospore, conidia, gemmule. Now first is zoospore. Zoospore is seen in Chlamydomonas. Okay, now in Chlamydomonas, you know Chlamydomonas has two flagella. They are flagellated. Okay, now they are motile. Now here you see the zoospores are endogenously produced unicellular naked motile spore. What is the meaning of these terms? Endogenously means within the body. Unicellular nature means one-celled. Okay, spore. Naked in nature, not coated by any membrane, and motile. So these are the three features. They are endogenously produced, they are unicellular, they are motile and naked. Now they may contain one or two flagella. So 5 points I have told you. So count it: endogenously produced, unicellular in nature, naked, motile, and may contain 1 or 2 flagella. 1 or 2 flagella. So zoospore are produced in a sac-like structure. Now this sac-like structure is called zoosporangium. So in Chlamydomonas we can very easily find the zoospore. Suppose this is the Chlamydomonas, within which the zoospore can, here these are the zoospore. 2 flagella will be there, they will be exposed out. Okay, so this is zoospore. So parent cell is the parent cell from which the zoospores are exposed out after development. Okay, so this is zoospore. Next come conidia. So see, Chlamydomonas, I told you they have biflagellated zoospore that are endogenously produced inside the body of the organism, and they are motile in nature, they are naked. So these are the structure. Next come conidia. Now this is the conidia of Penicillium. Penicillium notatum. Now this is non-motile. Conidia is not motile, they are non-motile. They are also asexual spores. They can cut off externally from the parent body, either singly or in bunch. You see there are large number of conidia here which are formed on the parent body. They are exogenously produced. You see they are outside the body, and they are non-motile, and they can even cut off from the parent body singly, so or in a chain. In Penicillium it comes out in a chain. Okay, in some organisms it may come as Phytophthora. In Phytophthora this may be either singly, a single spore may be produced. So this is a typical type of conidia formation in Penicillium from the tip of the spore, hypa or the conidiophore can arise. So this is about the conidia formation, that is spore formation. Next comes the gemule. Gemule is seen in sponges. Okay. Now gemmules are internal asexual structure. So gemule is a like rounded structure. This is a gemule. Here, this is the gemule. Okay. Inside you can find, this will be filled up with these spores. So this is the gemule. So gemule is seen in sponges. You know sponges, they are porifera. So gemule is the internal asexual reproductive unit or bud in sponges. Now these develop in the parent body and release during germination. So these are the various type of asexual mode of reproduction that I have described till now. Now there may be some other type of reproduction, that is vegetative propagation. Now what is vegetative propagation? It is a mode of reproduction in which new plants are produced from vegetative parts. Okay, so here the root, the stem, the leaf or any other part without the sexual part, that is without the flower, which are involved in reproduction is called vegetative propagation. This is very common in higher angiosperms. Angiosperms mean flowering plant. So you see, I am just telling you some of the name. You can remember. The first is bulbil. Bulbil or bulbil is seen in agave species. Bulbil is the bulbil. It is seen in agave. Next come bulb. Bulb, you know, onion and garlic. They produce by bulb. Eyes are seen in potatoes. Potato eye, you see, this is a potato. In the winter, you see, there are scars on the potato. These become the germinating units. These are the eye where the small root-like portion arises, okay, in the winter. So this is the eye of potato. Next come leaf bud. Bryophyllum generally grow from the leaf margin. You know, in Hindi it's called patharchat, okay. So even snake plant also propagate by from the leaf. So from the leaf margin, the new plant arises and it may detach from the parent body after maturation. So this is the leaf bud in Bryophyllum. Next come offset. Offset is seen in water hyacinth and pistia. These are aquatic plants, freshwater aquatic plant. Next come rhizome. It is seen in ginger. Ginger, you see, it is an underground stem. Next, runner is seen in oxalis. Okay, dub grass that we say in Hindi is called dub. And sucker. Sucker is seen in mint, that is pudina. So these are the various type of vegetative propagation unit, or these are called vegetative propagules. So vegetative propagules are those units or those parts in the plant which are vegetative part and helps in. So students, I hope you understood the topic about asexual reproduction in organisms. So keep watching my videos. In the next video I will be explaining about the sexual reproduction, as well as you have chapter 2, that is reproduction in flowering plants. So keep watching. Thank you for watching my videos.